Well, if you had plans to go watch the Chiefs play in Minneapolis, change them because you're going back to the Hurricane. Word just came down. Chiefs and Bucks will be played in Tampa, Florida, where the game was scheduled. This news just came out as we were doing the intro. So welcome to Winner Takes It All, where your appointment viewing for Thursdays, getting you set each and every week for the weekend's football matchups. I'm Clint Schweitzer, the $100 man with the break-even plan, joined as always by my Starcade Media blood brother, Noah Groninger. Nitro himself is here, and our good friend Chuck Shoot, the Chuck Shoot podcast, the absolute best rock and roll podcast there is. And I only say that because I've kind of bowed out of the game. No, I'm just kidding, Chuck. You're the best.
No, I love yours. I listen to all your. Listen to almost every episode. I feel like when it was Music Mania, but I'm an old school fan.
Yeah, that is pretty old school. I tried to keep it general. I'm like, hey, a general name where we could have country stars on here. Well, as it turns out, my country knowledge wasn't quite up to par. And I stuck with what I knew, which is 80s hair metal and hard rock. You know,
there we go.
Yeah, fault me for that.
Love it,
guys. It's great to be here. We got this hurricane situation, but let's put it this way, guys. The winner takes it all. Each and every one of us. A little better week last week. We won you guys some money if you stuck with any of us. So can't beat that, right?
Yeah, even if they just did that Browns parlay, that was like 12-1 odds. So, I mean, you probably made up all the money that you lost from the first 2 weeks for me.
Yeah, I had, I think, a 7-game college football parlay that ended up hitting. So if you stuck with me on that, unfortunately, my locks aren't hitting. I had the Browns lose to the Jets in miraculous fashion, the Chiefs -5.5 at the Colts, and they blow it in miraculous fashion. So stay tuned with my locks because there's going to be some fun there. Not some winning, but some fun.
So we just need to do the opposite of your lock, and then
yes.
Yeah, by lock we mean very loose. You know, if you like it, if you don't, you know, I mean other sports handicappers will get on there and tell you this is our lock. You're playing this, your money stays and plays right here. You know, here on Winner Takes It All, it's all about the fun and the entertainment of sports betting, and we try to make it as fun and entertaining as possible. But we're not professional gamblers, not professional sports handicappers. We do not live in Las Vegas. We like to have fun and hopefully win you guys some money along the way. Chuck, and you did that for us. We all lent a hand in that last week, so we're going to do it again this week. Why not?
Yeah, my college parlay finally hit. I think the first 2 weeks they all busted. This one, I finally got it down. It was, it was like double your money, so not bad.
Yeah, we all had our college parlays hit. So
nice.
And for me, that's extra. Maybe it was a little easier because mine was only 4 games. I kept it simple and got it. I hit it.
We're learning
by the skin of my teeth, man. I love the Syracuse Orange, and they almost had an upset there to Virginia. So we're gonna hopefully keep things rolling this week. But we got Thursday night football, and I don't know if we can't say yet if that's going to be on anyone's picks. But man, Bengals and Dolphins. It seems like a crossroads here for Joe Burrow and the Bengals. We talked about them last week, but what do we expect out of this, Chuck?
Yeah, they're favorites, which kind of scares me, but at the same time, Tua's either hurt. I mean, he's hurt. So I don't know if he's going to play or not. He's either going to play hurt or they're going to go to the backup, which I believe is Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's Thursday night game on the road, short week. That's tough for a road team. And I think that's why the Bengals are favorited. Also, I think that Burrow is starting to finally find his groove. I think, he's healed from the appendix. And I think it's kind of a must-win game for the Bengals. Like, if they go 1-3, that's pretty bad. I mean, they were in the Super Bowl last year, so you figure they want to at least go to 2-2 and not do 1-3.
Yeah, I like the Dolphins in that game. The Bengals definitely don't want to go 1-3. They're at home, but they're one win coming against kind of a hapless Jets team unless I put a lock against them, and then they're going to ruin it for me like they did with the Browns. But the Bengals just have too many problems on their offensive line. They're not going to be able to deal with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill unless Tua is out. That's the one chance for the Bengals. So if Teddy Bridgewater's in there, then I'd take the Bengals. But we're still kind of waiting word on that. Probably a game time decision.
Oh, it's the Bengals by 6 now? Yeah, I thought it was only 4.
I think it's just a prediction here. Bengals win by 6 here. Okay, so yeah, they are favored.
But it's always crazy though. That's the thing is like it's never what you expect. Because like on paper, you're like, yeah, the Dolphins are going to win, but
that's we'll see if that's in any of our picks, and we're going to go ahead and go to that, and we're going to start, Noah, with you this week. Can you just guide us through this journey?
I got a little wacky here, so enjoy it, folks.
Wow.
All right, we got pretty risky here. The risk level. This is plus almost 3,000 here with So you don't have to put a lot of money on this. You could put like $5 on it and win $150. So you just get $5 is like a penny back in the 90s. So that's what we're dealing with here. And you see that you've got Wake Forest as an underdog, Kansas as an underdog. I like those matchups. Clint likes Iowa State there. I think this Kansas team's on fire. They're at home. They actually have a crowd now that shows up to games, so that's a positive for them. Wake Forest against Florida State. Florida State has been strong coming out of the gates here, but Wake Forest just took Clemson to overtime. I like them there. LSU at Auburn. Auburn's having so many problems at quarterback, so you're just kind of wondering what's going there. So that's my 6 games there that I really like those. And then we've got this 12-game parlay. We're going crazy. This is a Noah special. If you tuned in week 1, you saw Noah's nightmare video of just 12-game parlays that broke on the last game. I'd win 11 in a row, and then the 12th game would break. But we've only got a couple games here that are under like minus 1,000. Everything else is minus 8,000, 5,000, 3,000. So that's why this 12 games is only plus 140. I mean, you've got Alabama at minus 850. They're at Arkansas. You've got Louisville at Boston College. That's minus 700. Michigan at Iowa. That's minus 400. Everything else is in the thousands, which is like, okay, this should be just golden, just no problems here. But all it takes, as we've told you before, is one game to not go your way, and the whole thing is bust. But I like this one. I'm going to play it for small money. Don't put your life savings. Don't put a paycheck on this. But I'm going to put some money here. And we move to the NFL slate. Browns and Chargers. I know they're on the road, but they're taking on the Falcons, Texans, 2 teams that aren't strong. You're getting plus 155 there. I'm still riding with the Browns for some reason after that horrendous lock that I had, and the Jets blew it up. But then we've got the Cowboys and Steelers there at home, and you're facing the Commanders and Jets, 2 hapless teams, and you're getting plus 158. I feel like that's a pretty good price for those 2 games. And my lock, oh boy, I don't know if you're going to bet this, folks, but you are going to want to watch these games because something insane is going to happen. But the Rams, you're getting plus money at the Niners. I mean, the Niners are dealing with some injuries. Trent Williams at left tackle's out, so Jimmy Garoppolo's not playing impressive. I mean, they just lost to the Broncos, who are kind of a hapless 2-1 team. So I like the Rams at plus money there. The Packers are minus 500 at home against the Patriots, who are probably looks like they're going to be without Mac Jones at quarterback. So you got to like the Packers there. It's just kind of that question with the Rams. But I think if you're getting plus money and you're getting a team that was in the Super Bowl, you're getting a team that's playing well. The Niners are injured. Plus 140. I like that lock this week.
Ooh, I like that. And so does Pete Stonebreaker. He says he loves the package of Rams and Pack. There it is.
Well, it's at least going to be interesting. I don't know if it's going to win, but it's going to be interesting. I do like it. I feel confident in it. I'm going to be playing it. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is.
Is that first college parlay? Is that money line?
Yes, those are money line games. 2 of them. Yeah.
Okay. And so these are some of these are underdogs.
That are underdogs. So
wow. Yeah. Okay. I'll try that for $5. Why not? Yeah, it'll be fun.
How did that get to plus 3,000 almost?
Got to be some big underdogs.
Games, you've got 2 underdogs.
That's
ballsy.
insane.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's how you win big.
Chuck, I want to go to you next here. I'm going to pull this one up. This is 2 of your picks right here on this same slide. So to kind of set you up here.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm doing that Cincinnati Bengals. I'm doing the money line. But again, if they go up by 7, if you do the early win thing on DraftKings, you win. So hopefully they just get a touchdown. They score first and then boom, you win your money. So it's not going to be as much if you take the spread, but I don't feel confident in the spread. But the money line, that's been pretty good for me. Those early win things are pretty good. So all I got to do is go up by 7 and you win. And also if they win the game, even if they win by 1, you win. So I don't know. I have a hard time picking the Dolphins on the road. It just seems like it's going to be rough for them to come in on a short week. And then my other one that on this slide is Jalen Hurts and Trevor Lawrence to each throw 2 touchdown passes. I think they both threw 3 last week, and they both seem to be a little bit on fire, in my opinion. Like both of them. Like Lawrence is finally finding his groove, which was surprising last year that he struggled as much as he did because he was really good in college and playing in the SEC. I mean, he was basically playing against pro defenses. And so the fact that he struggled as much as he did last year was surprising. All it took was firing Urban Meyer. And now all of a sudden he's found his groove. He's got Doug Peterson, the head coach of the Eagles that, won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. So Trevor Lawrence, he can throw. I think he threw 2 touchdown passes, and Hurts is just. I mean, yeah, he's been on fire all year. So I think 2 touchdowns is very realistic for him as well. Okay, now we got a big one. So this is my same game parlay. Again, I think the Bengals. It's like a must-win game for them. So even if they lose, you could still win on this parlay. I think Jamar Chase is going to get a touchdown. He's a stud. They're going to have to throw the ball because even if Teddy Bridgewater plays for the Dolphins, there's going to be a lot of throwing. There's going to be a lot of points in this one. I don't expect a lot of great defense. It's a short week. Defenses are tired. It's just, crazy stuff happens. So for Burrow to throw 250 and Higgins and Chase to get those yards and Mixon 40 yards. Come on, that's pretty real. I think this is all pretty realistic. But again, these parlays, it only takes one thing to screw it up. So Burrow could get 248 yards and then you lose. So, but if you win, you're going to win a little bit bigger than just taking like a money line bet like the other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got? Okay, this is another college parlay. I tried 2 college parlays the first 2 weeks. They both lost. Third one last week hit. I think I did 7 teams. So I think for me, that's the magic number right now. I feel confident in basically all these teams. I think we talked about last night, Oregon State is pretty good, and I do think they are pretty good, but I just think Utah at home, I mean, money line, I think that I wouldn't take the spread because I think Oregon State's going to be competitive, but I think ultimately Utah's going to win that game. The rest, I mean, I don't even see anything that looks remotely troublesome to me, but you never know. Alabama on the road, it's Bama, but still it's a road game. I think that was the only road game I took. Everything else is a home team, but I just figure they're Bama, but then again, they almost lost to Texas. So you never know.
Man, I like that. When you get to this point in the season and you see some trends, you can start packaging these up and you can really, feel good about it, and I think that's what you've done here is that you've got teams that you feel good about and then you can go out there and it doesn't always hit, doesn't always work, but man, we could feel like that this gives you a chance. It gives you,
when you're rooting for these teams, it's not going to be too difficult, I wouldn't think. I mean, again, you never know, but I think that's a pretty safe bet. The one hit last week. And again, I'm doing it's like not that big of a spread. So you're just going to double your money, but I think it's kind of safer than some of these other bets that are, you're just money line doubling your money or whatever. Okay. This one, God, I'm kind of second guessing this one, but I just think, I think Colts at home, just what they did to was it the Jaguars? No, who did they beat last week?
The Kansas City Chiefs, and I was there in Indianapolis.
I wasn't going to answer.
Yeah, they beat the freaking Chiefs. So I don't know. Maybe they found their groove. Again, I feel like this is the same thing with the Bengals. Like this is a team that had playoff hopes, and this is kind of a must-win. Like either you're in or you're out. Either you're a good team or a shitty team. So they got to figure it out real quick. And they got Jonathan Taylor. Matt Ryan, just don't freaking throw any interceptions. And I think if the Colts can just hang on and run the ball with Taylor, I think they're going to, get a couple touchdowns. I think they'll go over 20 points. I think the Titans getting over 10 points and getting 1 touchdown is pretty realistic. So I think all this stuff should happen, but you never know with the Titans. They got Derrick Henry, but it's going to be interesting. Tannehill versus Matt Ryan. I think it's just whoever has to throw the ball more is probably going to lose. So hopefully they just
I don't put butts in the seats.
And Jonathan Taylor also is dealing with a toe injury, missed his first practice of his football career this week.
Yeah, but they said it was just a precautionary thing. And I mean, come on, a toe, hopefully that doesn't make a difference. I think he's going to be okay. They said he's going to play. So I would be shocked if he didn't. And then if he doesn't, I believe that that part of the parlay is voided. So you'd still get the rest of the parlay. You won't lose if he's hurt. So that's good to know.
So that's really good stuff. And I want to remind you that we put all these picks up on our Facebook page, Winner Takes It All, so that you can have these down if you happen to miss the show, which I know you wouldn't do purposefully, but great stuff there. I love what I see.
By the way, my college one was the lock. I don't know if I said that, but yeah, that's the one I feel the most confident.
That had the lock.
You did have the lock. Okay, cool.
Yep,
good job.
That is it. And interesting to see how this goes. And truthfully, when it comes to my own picks, I look at what you guys do, and sometimes I kind of revise what I had done and do some stuff with what you guys pick. So as a collective, it's just fun to have this sort of melding. And so we'll see what it looks like for mine, guys. We got a plus 267 college parlay on the money line. I kept it simple last week. 4 picks, and we're going to do it again. I know we talked about last night in our group text, Washington at UCLA being a little scary. And the Washington Huskies are playing great football right now. And UCLA, Chip Kelly, you keep thinking about that. You keep hearing his name about, possibly getting fired. He's on the hot seat. UCLA is averaging, by the way, guys, you want to talk about a home field advantage? They're averaging about 27,000 fans a game so far. So Washington going on the road there is not going to be a daunting environment there in the Rose Bowl. And Michigan and Iowa. Iowa's been a team that's been hit and miss for me. I bet against Iowa, against Nevada a couple weeks ago, at least to cover the spread, and they covered it by like 2 points. And but Iowa has already suffered a loss to their rival Iowa State Cyclones in state. They're scoring a few more points now, and they did get a big win last week. But Michigan, I think they're on the outside, guys, of becoming an elite team. We've only got a few. We had our good friend Tim Brando on our Starcade Sports podcast this week going around college football talking about the elites. And who are they? Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama, and Michigan maybe right on the fringe there. We'll see here on the road. I love packaging them into this because it is a big game, and Michigan seems like a team ready to maybe get back into the playoff argument here. Purdue at Minnesota. The Minnesota Gophers don't look now, but they're ranked under head coach PJ Fleck.
We don't take Minnesota around these parts, Clint.
We in the first show, we mentioned how, or maybe that was a Michigan State thing. It's one or the other. I don't know if both need to forever be in that curse. We'll see. If this happens this week, Purdue upsets Minnesota, then it's never happening again. So the Minnesota Golden Gophers, 21st ranked. PJ Fleck could be a name on a lot of big-time jobs short list. He had kind of been middling there at Minnesota. The Gophers look like they got something. They destroyed Colorado a couple weeks ago. I kind of like what the Gophers are doing right now. Texas Tech at KSU. The Kansas State Wildcats, guys. Adrian Martinez, Chris Kleiman led Kansas State, goes into Oklahoma. What did they do last week? They upset the Boomer Sooners. Texas Tech coming in. They are coming off a big win over the rival Texas Longhorns, but coming into Kansas State, Bill Snyder Family Stadium, Chris Kleiman is just as solid as they come in the coaching industry. Don't be surprised if you see him on the short list for the Nebraska job that's now open. Kansas State, Minnesota, Michigan, Washington, package them up and win. Had to make this pick kind of last second because I forgot to make another pick, but Steelers versus Jets. They're at home. Mitch Trubisky and the Steelers defense that has played at a fairly high level, even though they're a middling team with Mitch Trubisky. Let's be honest, that offense, Najee Harris is only going to get them so far, but 2.5 against the Jets. I don't like anything about what the Jets are doing. Noah, they burned you last week. We'll see if they burn me to the ground this week. But I like the Steelers minus the 2.5 against the Jets. Now let's go on to something a little more fun. We got an NFL money line. This plays plus 438. Noah, you mentioned it in your picks, talking about value, getting plus value for teams that are either underdogs or not as big of favorites as they should be. Chargers at Texans. I've got the Chargers here at the Texans. Chargers coming back from that devastating loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which no one saw coming. Is Justin Herbert healthy? I don't think so, but Texans are pretty hapless. Commanders at Cowboys. I like what the boys have done under Cooper Rush. Their defense is playing well. They're moving the ball. They've got a pretty good 1-2 punch at the running back position. We know the receiver, CeeDee Lamb. Cooper Rush, I trust him. I don't trust anything about the Commanders. I hate their uniforms. I hate their name. I hate their logo. I hate their city right now. I don't care anything about Washington. The Commanders, that's just out. So Pats at Packers. Noah, I'm with you. You just put the Packers in there. They're minus like 500 or 600.
500, yeah.
Just put them on the money line and win. That's easy. 49ers at Rams. Again, I agree with you there. I don't understand where Vegas gets off making this as close as it is. This is the 49ers, you talked about hapless, to lose the game 11-10 to the Denver Broncos, who are equally as hapless. Get out of here. Rams, you talked about it. They were in the Super Bowl last year. Maybe got a little too close for comfort last week against the Cardinals. Put the Rams in there and win with that. And now I got an upset special this week, guys, because we had our good friend Tim Brando. I mentioned it. Kentucky, guys, is getting 7 points to go play Lane Kiffin and Jackson Dart and the Ole Miss Rebels. I love Kentucky here. Tim Brando said third best team in the SEC for Kentucky. They're going to go on the road and they're going to cover the spread. Don't really need to pick them to win outright. They're going to cover the 7. This is a 3 or 4 point game either way. Put your money on the Kentucky Wildcats. Will Levis and Mark Stoops really has something going there. at the University of Kentucky. I know it's a team you don't hear about a lot, but guys, all of a sudden they're in the top 10 here, and they're a very good, capable team. Talk about bounce backs. My lock of the week: Oklahoma, 6.5 against TCU. This is a classic bounce back game for this program. Oklahoma, they lose to Kansas State every year. That's what they do. And guess what? They bounce back and they win the league every year. 4 out of the last 5. Oklahoma, TCU, they're going on the road, and it's going to be a 6.5. They're going to win that game by 10 plus. And so that is my lock of the week, as Dylan Gabriel and Brent Venables get things back on track for Oklahoma. That's how we're going to win this week.
Oklahoma dominates TCU, and they don't even have Gary Patterson anymore, TCU's head coach of years past, who can give some people some problems with his defensive schemes. He's now gone, and Oklahoma owned him anyway. So yeah, I love that lock, Clint.
There it is. My lock hit finally last week. I had Rams against Cardinals, not by much, because the Rams kind of let them hang in there. And I don't really know what the Rams are right now. Certainly don't know what the Cardinals are. But God, how about some of these other games? I mean, just for fun, I think we had a question on my Facebook about the Raiders and Broncos this week. Talk about the bottom of the barrel here in the AFC West. We thought both teams were going to be so much better. Chuck, what has gone on with Russell Wilson and the Broncos? And the Raiders are 0-3. They get Devontae Adams, and it's just not working for either team.
Oh, I love it. I love seeing Russell Wilson
So do I.
suffer because, hey, I mean, he said, I'm too good for you guys. Like, I had to carry the team. I mean, he literally used those words, that he had to carry the team. That's why I don't think people know that. They're like, why did the Seahawks fans boo him? It's like, because he said he had to carry the team. That was pretty rude. And so to see him bomb it's entertaining. I mean, the guy's still getting $250 million or whatever to play football. So I think he could bounce back too. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if it's the offensive line. I only saw the one game, and it seemed like it was mostly bad coaching and then the goal line issues that plagued him in Seattle. So I didn't see the one against the 49ers. I was listening to some of the radio. It just sounded like a shit show. So I'm not a big Raiders fan. This one is in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh,
It's a Raiders
it might be
game.
kind of fun to take the Raiders on that. I don't know what the spread is, but maybe take the points and just see. It could be, if the Broncos go, what would that be, 1-3? That would be interesting. It's hard to bounce back from 1-3.
I'm not sure. I don't think I could play anything in that game. I don't know.
No.
Like, the Raiders have to have this game. They're at home, but Derek Carr against the Broncos defense. You make fun of the Broncos, but the defense is top notch there. They're like 1st through 3rd in all the major categories, passing yards, total yards, scoring defense. So Russell Wilson.
The Raiders are favorited 2.5. Wow.
Yeah, the Broncos are. Yeah, the underdogs going into that game. So if you want to take the Broncos, I'd probably lean towards the Broncos. If somebody said I have to pick that game, I'd probably take the Broncos as the underdog to win. But just because of that defense, nothing Russell Wilson or Nathaniel Hackett are doing.
Right. Chubb is good.
Yeah. Bradley
Chubb, the defense, and the Broncos have had this defense, though, guys, for the last 5 years, 6 years. They've had it, and this Russell Wilson thing was supposed to be the answer, put him over the edge, and it's almost like it's becoming more of a detriment. It's no different than Case Keenum or some of these
Drew Lock.
I didn't want to say it. Chuck's got Drew Lock out in Seattle, man.
He's a number one. According to Pete Carroll, we have 2 number 1 quarterbacks, Drew Lock and Geno Smith. Those are both number 1s.
So does that mean you have 0 if you have 2 number 1s? Is that what that really means?
I think it's like -1. I don't know.
Seattle's, after that win over the Broncos, which is inexplicable that Denver had that loss, has now come back to earth a little bit, but it was back and forth with the Falcons there, and that could have went either way. So this is the point in the season. This is this point in the season, though, where you got to start, bucking up, and the season can go off the rails at any moment. And we've seen the Raiders and these horrible starts. It's hard to recover. So yeah, Seattle
has no defense, right? Actually, I wouldn't even blame it all on the quarterback stuff, because I can't remember. I think we scored like 23 or 24 points, but we gave up 27. So I would bet, if you're going to bet on that game, I bet on the over. I think it's going to be a high scoring back and forth. I don't think there's going to be much defense versus the Lions. And Goff is actually having a pretty good year. He's got like 7 or 8 touchdowns or something.
Yeah, I do like the Lions. I would take them in that game again if I had to. The Seahawks could find a way to stay in it and keep it a game there. I do like the Lions in that game, but we haven't seen a quarterback battle the likes of Geno Smith and Drew Lock since right here in Kansas City, when it was between Damon Heward and Brody Croyle. So
I remember those names.
It was equally as riveting as a quarterback battle too. And
Remember Elvis Grbac? Was he in the Chiefs? Wasn't he
yeah,
in the
we
Chiefs?
remember Chuck. We remember them all. Elvis Grbac, Steve DeBerg, Dave Craig. I mean, this is just what
Dave Craig, ex-Seahawk.
Matt
I mean,
Castle,
this-
Steve Bono, Tyler Thigpen.
No, but the smartest thing that Andy Reid did, he had Alex Smith, and he's like, Alex Smith is like that. I mean, I don't know. I hate to use the word mediocre, but he's kind of that level, like the B level. He's a good quarterback, but he's not great. And he's like, I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes. And it worked out. I mean, that's
you
smart.
mentioned it. You're right. You talked about how that can be poisonous to an organization, that
Yeah.
good is the enemy of great. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of football, a lot of teams refuse to embrace that.
Right.
That philosophy. And maybe Seattle's one of them right now. The Colts have certainly been, even though, they're riding high over a win over the Chiefs. I was there. I'm sick to this minute about it. Chuck, the night before I was at Louder Than Life Festival, I saw Kiss, Alice Cooper, Rob Zombie all in a row. And then I drove up to Indianapolis and saw what I saw. I don't know if it was a great weekend or the worst one of my life. It could be both.
Yeah. What do you think happened?
We can't have too many good things in a row here. We've got to balance it out. So you had a great time at the concert and you forfeited that with a devastating Chiefs loss. So.
Life's all about balance, guys. We can't get too high or low. We can't have too nice of things. And
No.
this is the best Alice Cooper show I've seen, by the way. Kane Roberts back in the fold for Alice, Chuck. And let me tell you about Kane Roberts playing the 80s stuff, playing Freedom and songs like that. Rose and Bed of Nails. This is an incredible Alice show, buddy.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. Yeah. I'm still trying to get him on my show. I reached
good
out.
luck.
He said, I reached out and they said, he's not doing interviews. But then they offered me another 80s band that I'm having on today in about an hour and a half. So I'll
Who is
post
it?
that one
Tease it.
today.
Who you got?
Well, I'll just say are you a Guns N' Roses fan?
I am, of course.
Well, this band opened for Guns N' Roses. So it's pretty good.
But in the history or like recently?
Yes. Back in the prime, I guess you would say.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of Use Your Illusions tour, who opened that. I'm just going to have to wait and see what happens on the Chuck Shoot podcast, you guys. So that's going to be incredible. I've got some stuff brewing as well on the Road to Rock. So we'll see how that goes, guys. It is always so exciting to have you on Winner Take It All. We're going to put our picks up on our Facebook page. You can check it out on the Winner Takes It All Facebook page, and you can see who each of us picked. We'll have it up there for you. It's always a pleasure. It's always fun. We'll see you guys back here next week on Winner Takes It All.